could determine the fate of the United States, as tomorrow is the presidential election. I forgot that tomorrow was the election, and I almost completely forgot. But it's gonna happen. Tomorrow, May 5th, 2025, is the presidential election. President Vince McMahon, he ran for re-election, but he lost in the Pork Party's primaries. Then Vince was thinking about running for Pope, because, Pope Francis died, so he was gonna run for Pope. But that's not going to happen because the Pope election is going to be held while he is still the president, because Vince McMahon doesn't leave office until May 10th, and the Pope election is May 7th. So here's the thing. There are three major candidates. There is the Pork Party's candidate, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, this guy. We don't like this guy around here. He sucks. He really does. He sucks. He's basically just a copy of Porkenstein. He's evil. His running mate is also Stephanie McMahon, who is, I think she's the daughter of Vince McMahon. I think I might be mistaken on that, but either way, they're related. So, yeah, she is the relative of Vince McMahon and the running mate of The Rock. The Rock has been kind of ahead in polling the entire time, but things could change. They could. Because his biggest opponent right now is AJ Styles. This guy right here, AJ Styles, who is running for president of the United States. He is notable because, he's a very famous wrestler. He's the brother of Harry Styles, and people just like him overall. He's the Freedom Party's candidate. He hates Porkenstein. He wants to put the country on the right path after 6 months of Porkenstein's rule, or I guess Porkism, because Porkenstein's dead. But I guess Porkism ruling the country. AJ Styles wants to put the country back on track. And his running mate is Omos, or whatever his name is. This guy Omos. He is only 30 years old, and I believe he's the youngest. He will be the youngest vice president ever if he was elected. So that would be interesting if he wins. There's also a third-party candidate for the Jimmy Party, because the Jimmy Party was founded by Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, because they had a bitter rivalry, and they decided to found the Jimmy Party. The best Jimmy gets the nomination, and it went to this guy Jimmy Uso. Man, it could have been Jimmy Uso's running mate, but man turned Jimmy Uso down. He got really mad at Jimmy Uso. It was a sad day, for America, that Mannington is not gonna be Jimmy Uso's running mate. So instead, Jimmy Uso has chosen his running mate to be Keanu Reeves. This guy, Keanu Reeves was also Denzel Jr.'s running mate in the last election, but obviously Denzel Jr. lost the last election. So those are the three main candidates. There were other people that were running, like Face Rug. He was running for president, but he dropped out. Donald Trump was also running for president, but he dropped out as well. So it just leaves these three people left. Basically tomorrow's gonna be the election, and whoever receives basically, if someone reaches 270 electoral votes, they are elected president outright tomorrow. There will not be a second round. They will just be elected presidents, and they will take office on May 10th. However, if none of the candidates manage to reach 270 electoral votes, because it's a three-way race. So honestly, because it's a three-way race, there's a good chance that someone won't get 270. Then what's going to happen is that there's going to be a second round on May 9th, between the two candidates who received the most electoral votes. So let's say if AJ Styles gets gets the most, but he doesn't get 270, and then The Rock gets the second most, then AJ Styles and The Rock are going to go on to the second round on May 9th, and then whoever wins the second round is going to be elected the president and will take office on May 10th. And it will determine the future of the United States for the next 6 months. So yeah, I guess you need to cast your votes. Who do you think is gonna win? Who do you think should win? Because it's the last day before the election between Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Stephanie McMahon versus AJ Styles and Omos and Jimmy Uso and Keanu Reeves. I will see you then.